Rising 224. My sister, you say the conscious fake leaders are weird, bro. You conscious fake leaders are weird. Well, first of all, I thank you for listening, and I acknowledge that you have some issues going on, you know. But this is not a safe space for disrespect. So this is the whole thing about people, is that they feel like they can disrespect you, but they don't deserve to be disrespected. Now, I don't have the energy this morning to disrespect a young black woman. I don't know what you got going on in your life, and I hope that you work through those problems so that you no longer have them anymore, right? And I hope that you have the wisdom to listen to people who may know more than you and can expand your capacity to grow in life. You say I'm calling women fat. There's plenty of fat women. Am I missing something here in society? First of all, I didn't just say women. I said 50% of America is fat. You took it personal. That's the traumatic smell, is the food smell in America. Yeah, it's triggering people to overeat. You got to start walking by these certain restaurants. I said 50% of America is obese. She said you can call the women fat. This is madness. This is why I'm gonna tell you I do believe in therapy, because I think people that are overweight need therapy. And that therapy is the gym. And then you have to deal with the problems that make you go to the gym, which are self-esteem and insecurities and things of that nature. And maybe some childhood traumas and things of that nature that's going on. I don't know. There's so many issues with America. We got too many mental issues in America. Goddamn. I can't quote a stat now. There's too many. The word, and that's the thing. We can't use the word fat no more. Why? Is it going to make people more fat if I use it, or less fat if I use it? I'm trying to understand some things here. Right? Yeah, man, we all need some therapy in some form. All right? So I would love to see more of us meditating. I would love to see more of us doing some form of therapy. Right? There's nothing wrong with it. And we have to stop being afraid of being triggered. Somebody can say therapy is a cult. It doesn't make it a fact. It doesn't mean that your perspective is invalidated. The tools you use don't work. And this is the difference between believing in things and knowing things. Somebody can say something about something that I know, and it won't change my position because I'm confident in what I believe. You should be able to be challenged, and it either grows you, right, or it does nothing, because you know yourself so deeply. But that is the point as well, is that there's so much going on social media that things can pull you in this direction and that. Oh, this today I believed in this, but this person said this, and the next day I believe in this. Stand firm in what you believe, if that's the case. Then you got all these young people who think that they got all these issues with them. Body dysmorphia, body positivity, all of these different things. New things popping up every single day. Then they get in circles of depression circles. Now they don't know how to deal with life. Now even the threshold for bullying has come down. And then they start seeing themselves as weak, instead of having the capacity to deal with life. So there are plenty of therapy cults. But no, the word therapy is a cult in the sense that go to therapy. Okay, which kind? Which one? Who? How much? For how long? So I think that language does matter. Right? And I think that we should be more intentional about what we tell people. Right? So you saying I can't call you fat, but you can keep coming in my comments. See, that's what you sisters mean. Some of y'all got some real problems. Some of y'all got some real problems. Got some real problems. So I ain't even going to talk bad about you because, I don't know your life. You know what I'm saying? I don't know your life. I don't know your life. That's somebody's daughter. So yeah, in short, no, I don't think when people go to therapy, they're joining a cult. Yes, I do believe that black men need to participate in various forms of therapy. And I believe it should be said like that. Various forms of therapy. I think what's the issue to me is the singular term, go therapy. That's what I'm getting towards. Black women should go and have multiple forms of therapy. So think about it from that perspective. And I think it's a much better perspective. And I realize that a lot of people don't listen to long form. That's not my fault. I'm not responsible for people running off clickbait. I'm not responsible for people being triggered. I'm not responsible for people not actually listening. That is a lower form and a lower tier of society. That's their responsibility to take ownership over their life and have critical thinking. Let me get Rising on up out of here. I think she definitely got some issues. I hope your therapist can work with you on those things, sister. But yeah, so have multiple forms of therapy. That is my diagnosis. Now, she's not even really a good troll, but... And some of us don't need this idea of therapy. You just need a better social circle. You just need better friends. Sometimes that's what you need. You know what I'm saying? If we being honest, like if you go back to ancient practices, sometimes they would, and this is something that we did and we're going to be bringing back in the high level club. So if y'all want to join doing the hikes, right? We're going to be doing the hikes all around America. You understand me? Going to different cities, especially as those groups reach to like 50 to 100 people, and bonfires. So I will drop the video where we did the bonfire. We did the bonfire, and essentially we had like people write down, you know, a goal or issue that they was dealing with, right? And they would throw it in the fire. Then we had a discussion, right, over the fire. Fire is a very purifying element. You understand me? And it was more, I would say, spiritual than anything, because you got to think about it. That's how they used to do back in the day. Like, even you think about the Native Americans. They may have smoked some peyote or something. You feel me? Had the tobacco going, and they sat around the fire and they shared stories. You understand me? They shared stories. So, yeah, we going to be doing, especially now that it's back warmer, we're going to be bringing back the hikes. We did some we did it in LA and Atlanta. So we're going to be doing some more of those, and we're going to be doing the bonfire. I just like the idea of bonding over fire myself. I think it's such a powerful element. You understand me? So make sure that we tap into that. Enjoy your different forms of therapy, right? Your holistic forms of therapy. You understand me? But I think let's be more intentional when we tell people to go to therapy, right? Because I think that's an easy way to pawn people off without having to be intentional. And then there's no such thing as therapy as a healer. There's therapies, meaning it's a lifestyle, right? So it's the working out, it's the eating right? It's the good social life. You know what I'm saying? It's the detoxing digitally from the world, right? It is the spiritual fasting, right? It is, being in spiritual conversations with others, whether that's mosques or church or study groups. You feel me? And then there's reflection time and silence, right? There's so many different therapies that it becomes a lifestyle that is consistently increasing your resilience and your capacity throughout life to grow with things, right? And continue to become stronger and stronger and stronger. So what bothered you yesterday has no power over you today. And tune in to High Level Conversations. I believe it's a great conversation. I suggest you all go follow Ray Kale's page, because I think she one that challenges thought. And if you listen to the sister, there was a conversation we had before we got into it where she was telling us about her life. and how she got to where she is. And it was very important. Because yes, she does has a tough love, more of a masculine approach to it, right? Which I think these things are necessary, because sometimes you tell a person they have the capacity to deal with something that can be more healing, right? Than anything, than telling them that they have an issue that it might take a very long time to get over. So I like timelines for growth, right? And I believe that overall, the message should be survive, thrive, evolve. But too much of the message is in survival, and not enough is in evolution. Peace, family.